Canned soup feels like comfort in a bowl. Warm, familiar, easy to prepare. But for Canadians over 50, that innocent-looking can could be hiding a silent threat. Sky-high sodium levels that spike blood pressure. Preservatives that interfere with heart medications. Today, we are exposing 9 canned soup brands you need to avoid, and revealing 2 that are actually safe. Coming in at number 9, we have Campbell's Condensed Soups. For decades, Campbell's has been the name Canadians trust. That iconic red and white label sits in nearly every pantry across the country. They promise wholesome, home-style goodness, comfort in every spoonful. But here is what Campbell's does not put on the front of that familiar can. A single serving of Campbell's condensed chicken noodle soup contains around 890 milligrams of sodium. But here's the catch most people miss. That is per serving, and a can contains 2.5 servings. If you eat the whole can, which most people do, you are consuming over 2,200 milligrams of sodium in one sitting. Health Canada recommends seniors consume no more than 1,500 milligrams per day. 1 can of soup, and you have already exceeded your entire daily limit before breakfast is even over. For seniors managing hypertension, this is not just concerning. It is dangerous. Excess sodium causes your body to retain water, increasing the volume of blood your heart must pump. Over time, this strains blood vessel walls, raises blood pressure, and increases the risk of heart attack and stroke. Studies show that reducing sodium intake by even 1,000 milligrams per day can significantly lower cardiovascular risk. If you are already on blood pressure medication, that sudden sodium spike can counteract everything your prescription is trying to do. The medication works to lower your pressure, while the soup works to raise it. It is a battle happening inside your body that you never agreed to fight. And then there is the ingredient list. Monosodium glutamate, modified food starch, sodium phosphate. These are not the ingredients your grandmother used when she made soup from scratch. Campbell's markets nostalgia, but delivers a chemical cocktail dressed up as comfort food. In 2019, Campbell's faced a class action lawsuit in the United States over misleading health claims on their labels. The company had marketed certain soups as heart-healthy while loading them with sodium levels that could trigger cardiovascular events. That same product sits on Canadian shelves today. Think about that. The soup you trust to warm you up on a cold Ontario evening could be silently working against your heart medication. The betrayal is not dramatic. It is quiet. It happens one bowl at a time. At number 8, we have Habitant pea soup. If you grew up in Quebec or anywhere in Eastern Canada, Habitant feels like heritage. That thick, rich pea soup with chunks of ham. It is marketed as authentic French-Canadian tradition. The label shows a cozy farmhouse scene, straight out of rural Quebec. The promise is simple, honest, homemade goodness passed down through generations. But crack open that can and read the nutrition label. A single cup of Habitant pea soup contains approximately 830 milligrams of sodium. And like most canned soups, a can holds more than 1 serving. Finish the can, which is exactly what the portion size encourages, and you are approaching 1,700 milligrams. That is more than the entire daily recommended intake for anyone over 50. For seniors with kidney disease, this is especially alarming. Your kidneys are responsible for filtering excess sodium from your blood. When they are already compromised, flooding them with salt forces them to work harder, accelerating decline. Many seniors are unaware that their kidney function naturally decreases with age, making them even more vulnerable to high-sodium foods. Habitant promises tradition. What it delivers is a burden your organs cannot afford. And the sodium is not the only issue. Habitant soups contain sodium nitrite, a preservative used in processed meats. Studies published in the International Journal of Cancer have linked regular consumption of sodium nitrite to increased risk of colorectal cancer. For seniors already facing elevated cancer risks due to age, this hidden additive is a gamble you did not agree to take. The texture might remind you of your grandmother's kitchen on a snowy winter afternoon. But your grandmother never added industrial preservatives to her recipe. She never packed 2 days' worth of sodium into a single pot. Habitant sells the memory of something pure, while delivering something that could quietly damage your health. Most people never learn which brands are actually safe. But stick around. We are breaking it all down at the very end of this video. Now at number 7, we have no-name canned soups from Loblaws. The bright yellow packaging is impossible to miss. No Name is Loblaws' budget brand. And for Canadians watching, their grocery bills in these difficult economic times, it feels like a smart choice. Why pay more for a name brand when the store brand tastes the same? But here is what that lower price tag is hiding. No-name soups consistently rank among the highest in sodium content across Canadian grocery stores. Their chicken noodle soup contains over 900 milligrams of sodium per serving. Their tomato soup hits nearly 700 milligrams per cup. These are not outliers. Across the entire no-name soup line, sodium levels rival or exceed name-brand competitors. And the quality control? That is where things get truly concerning. Store brands like No Name rely on third-party manufacturers scattered across different facilities. The soup in that yellow can might come from a different factory than the one you bought last month. Consistency is not guaranteed. Freshness is not guaranteed. What is guaranteed is that you are saving a few dollars while potentially risking your cardiovascular health. For seniors on fixed incomes, the appeal of No Name is understandable, but when that savings comes at the cost of blood pressure spikes, kidney strain, and potential medication interference, the math does not add up. You are not saving money. You are borrowing against your health. In 2022, a CFIA inspection found that several private label soup products, including those sold under generic store brands across Canada, contained undeclared allergens. Soy, wheat, and milk proteins showed up in products that did not list them on the label. For seniors with food sensitivities or allergies, this is not a minor oversight. It is a failure that could trigger serious reactions. An allergic reaction for someone over 50 with other health conditions can quickly become a medical emergency. No Name promises value, but value means nothing if the product quietly undermines your well-being. If this is helping you stay safer at the store, hit subscribe. It is free and it means you will never miss these exposés. We reveal the brands that are actually safe, but only if you stay until the end. Number 6 is President's Choice Blue Menu Soups. This one hurts, because President's Choice Blue Menu is specifically marketed to health-conscious Canadians. The packaging is clean, modern, and reassuring. The messaging is clear: lower sodium, better choices, trusted by families across Canada who are trying to make healthier decisions. But look closer at that nutrition label. President's Choice Blue Menu Chicken. Vegetable soup contains 480 milligrams of sodium per serving. That sounds reasonable until you realize a full can contains 2 servings. Eat the whole can, and you are at nearly 1,000 milligrams. Not as extreme as others on this list, but still problematic for seniors managing blood pressure or heart conditions. And here is where the betrayal cuts deeper. The blue menu label creates a false sense of security. Seniors see reduced sodium and assume it is safe. They stop checking labels because they believe the brand has done the work for them. They trust the branding, and that trust allows them to consume sodium levels that are still too high for anyone on hypertension medication or dealing with kidney decline. The Canadian Heart and Stroke Foundation recommends that adults with cardiovascular concerns keep their total daily sodium intake below 1,500 milligrams. One can of Blue Menu soup consumes nearly 2/3 of that allowance. That does not leave much room for the rest of your meals. President's Choice built the Blue Menu line on a promise of health. But reduced does not mean low. Better does not mean safe. And for seniors who trusted that blue packaging, the reality might be a blood pressure reading that tells a different story. Why do you think brands are allowed to call something reduced sodium when it still contains enough salt to spike your blood pressure? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear what you think. At the halfway mark, number 5 is Knorr soup. Packets and ready-to-serve soups. Knorr has been a kitchen staple for generations. Those little packets of soup mix that fit neatly in your cupboard. The ready-to-serve cartons in the refrigerated section. The brand feels European, sophisticated, trustworthy. The green packaging suggests freshness and natural ingredients. But Knorr's products are loaded with sodium, and they hide it behind clever serving sizes, designed to make the numbers look smaller than they really are. A single packet of Knorr chicken noodle soup mix, when prepared as directed, delivers over 1,400 milligrams of sodium per serving. One serving. That is nearly an entire day's worth for someone over 50 managing blood pressure. And the ingredient list reads like a chemistry exam. Maltodextrin, disodium inosinate, disodium guanylate, These flavor enhancers are designed to make you crave more. They trick your taste buds into believing the soup is richer, meatier, more satisfying than it actually is. What they do not tell you is that these additives can trigger headaches, digestive issues, and for some, reactions similar to MSG sensitivity. For seniors taking ACE inhibitors or other blood pressure medications, the potassium-sodium balance in your diet is critical. Knorr soups disrupt that balance dramatically. The sodium floods in, your medication struggles to compensate, and your blood pressure readings start climbing without any obvious explanation. Your doctor might adjust your dosage, never suspecting that a simple bowl of soup is undermining everything. Knorr promises flavor. What it delivers is a salt bomb wrapped in nostalgia. The soup might remind you of simpler times, but the health consequences are anything but simple. Number 4 might surprise you. It is Amy's Kitchen Organic Soups. Now, this might be unexpected. Amy's Kitchen is the darling of the health food aisle. Organic ingredients sourced from certified farms. No artificial preservatives or flavor enhancers. Vegetarian and vegan options for every dietary preference. For health-conscious seniors, Amy's feels like a safe harbor in a sea of processed junk. But organic does not mean low sodium. And this is where Amy's betrays the trust of the very customers who seek it out. Amy's Organic Chunky Tomato Bisque contains 680 milligrams of sodium per cup. Their lentil soup hits 590 milligrams per serving. These numbers are not dramatically lower than conventional brands. In some cases, they are actually higher. The organic label creates an illusion of safety that the nutrition facts simply do not support. And there is more. In 2021, a former employee filed a lawsuit against Amy's Kitchen, alleging unsafe working conditions at their California production facilities. Reports described injuries, excessive production pressure, and inadequate safety protocols. While Amy's products are sold across Canada, the manufacturing practices behind them raised serious questions about quality and oversight. For seniors who pay premium prices for Amy's soups, believing they are making the healthiest choice, this is a harsh reality. You are paying more for organic certification while still consuming sodium levels that could elevate your blood pressure. The green label feels virtuous. The impact on your cardiovascular system is the same as any conventional brand. Organic does not protect your heart. It does not lower your blood pressure. And it does not mean you can stop reading the nutrition label. Do not leave yet. The solution is coming at the very end, and it could change how you shop for soup forever. Coming in at number 3, we have Great Value canned soups from Walmart. Great Value is Walmart's house brand, and for budget-conscious Canadians, it is everywhere. The price is low. The selection is wide. For seniors stretching their dollars through retirement, Great Value soups seem like a practical choice that makes financial sense. But practical does not mean safe. Great Value tomato soup contains 730 milligrams of sodium per cup. Their chicken with rice hits 890 milligrams per serving. Their vegetable beef reaches similar levels. Across the entire Great Value soup line, sodium levels consistently rank among the highest in the Canadian market. And the sourcing? That is where transparency disappears completely. Walmart contracts with multiple manufacturers, often shifting production between facilities to keep costs down. The soup you buy this month might come from a completely different factory than the one you bought last year. Quality control becomes inconsistent. Standards slip through the cracks, and you have no way of knowing which batch came from where. In 2020, a Great Value soup product was recalled due to potential contamination concerns. While Walmart issued the recall promptly, the incident highlighted the risks of private label manufacturing, where cost-cutting takes priority over consistent safety protocols. For seniors managing chronic conditions, every can of soup is a decision. Great Value offers a low price tag, but the hidden cost is uncertainty. Uncertainty about sodium content that might not match the label. Uncertainty about manufacturing standards that change without notice. Uncertainty about whether the soup warming on your stove is helping you or harming you. Saving money feels good, but not when the savings come with risks you cannot see. Ever notice how the cheapest foods always seem to cause the most health problems? Coincidence or something else? Let me know what you think in the comments. At number 2, we have Primo soups. Primo is a familiar name in Canadian pantries. The brand positions itself as authentic Italian flavor, bringing Mediterranean tradition to your kitchen table. The labels feature rustic imagery with rolling Tuscan hills and sun-drenched tomatoes. The promise is simple: wholesome ingredients prepared the old world way. But Primo's nutrition labels tell a different story entirely. Their minestrone soup contains approximately 750 milligrams of sodium per serving. Their tomato with basil hits 800 milligrams per cup. For a brand that markets itself on Mediterranean diet principles, a diet celebrated worldwide for heart health, these sodium levels are staggering. The Mediterranean diet is associated with reduced cardiovascular disease precisely because it emphasizes fresh vegetables, olive oil, and moderate salt intake. Primo borrows the aesthetic while ignoring the fundamental principles. They sell the image of Italian tradition, while delivering sodium levels that would make any cardiologist wince. And the ingredient lists include additives you would never find in an actual Italian kitchen. Modified cornstarch, flavor enhancers, preservatives to extend shelf life far beyond what nature intended. These are industrial ingredients designed for mass production and long supply chains, not for health. For seniors who choose Primo, believing they are making a Mediterranean-inspired healthy choice, the betrayal is subtle but real. The can looks authentic, the taste seems genuine, but the sodium content is working against your heart with every spoonful. Tradition means nothing when the product ignores the very principles that made it healthy in the first place. And now, the absolute worst offender at number 1. Lipton Cup of Soup. Lipton Cup of Soup is marketed as quick, convenient, and comforting. Just add hot water. In seconds, you have a warm cup of soup. For seniors living alone or those with mobility challenges who find cooking difficult, the simplicity is appealing. No cans to open, no pots to wash. Just tear, pour, and sip. But that convenience comes at a devastating cost that most people never suspect. A single envelope of Lipton Cup of Soup chicken noodle contains approximately 600 milligrams of sodium. That sounds almost reasonable until you realize these packets are tiny. You are drinking a few ounces of broth with minimal noodles, consuming half a day's worth of sodium, in what amounts to a light snack. The sodium-to-volume ratio is staggering. Ounce for ounce, this is one of the most sodium-dense products in the Canadian grocery market. And the ingredients? There is barely any real food in these packets. The first ingredients are salt, maltodextrin, and cornstarch. The chicken flavor comes from hydrolyzed protein and artificial flavorings created in a laboratory. You are essentially drinking salt water with chemical flavor enhancers that trick your brain into thinking you are consuming something nutritious. Your body processes it as a sodium flood with almost no nutritional benefit. For seniors managing hypertension, kidney disease, or heart failure, Lipton Cup of Soup is a quiet disaster waiting to happen. It requires no preparation, which means there is no barrier between you and a dangerous sodium spike. You might sip one in the afternoon without thinking twice, then another before bed, and your blood pressure climbs without any obvious culprit. The packaging shows steam rising from a cozy mug. The reality is a delivery system for industrial salt that can push your cardiovascular system past its limits. Lipton sells convenience. What you receive is a health risk disguised as comfort. Now, after everything we have covered, you might wonder if any canned soup is safe. The answer is yes, but only if you know where to look. There are brands that prioritize your health over their profit margins. Brands that keep sodium low without sacrificing flavor. Brands that seniors can actually trust. The first safe option is Pacific Foods' organic low-sodium soups. Pacific Foods takes low sodium seriously. Their organic low-sodium chicken noodle soup contains just 140 milligrams of sodium per cup. That is not a typo. 140 milligrams compared to over 800 in most conventional brands. The difference is remarkable and meaningful for anyone watching their sodium intake. The ingredients are simple and recognizable. Organic chicken broth, organic vegetables, organic noodles, no artificial flavors, no preservatives, no hidden MSG under different names. What you read on the label is what you get in the can. There are no surprises waiting to undermine your health. For seniors managing blood pressure, kidney health, or heart conditions, Pacific Foods offers something rare, a canned soup you can actually enjoy without worrying about the consequences. The flavor is clean and authentic. You taste vegetables, not salt. You taste chicken, not chemical enhancers. It proves that soup can be both convenient and genuinely healthy. Pacific Foods is widely available in Canadian grocery stores, including Loblaws, Sobeys, and Whole Foods. It costs slightly more than conventional brands, but the difference is worth it. You are paying for real ingredients, honest labeling, and sodium levels that will not send your blood pressure through the roof. That extra $1 or $2 per can is an investment in your health. The second recommendation is Imagine Organic Low-Sodium Soups. Imagine is another brand that prioritizes health without compromising taste. Their organic low-sodium creamy tomato soup contains just 125 milligrams of sodium per serving. Their butternut squash hits 150 milligrams. Across their entire low-sodium line, you will find options that seniors can enjoy safely and without guilt. The ingredient lists are transparent: organic vegetables, organic cream, simple seasonings, no maltodextrin, no disodium anything, no industrial flavor enhancers that confuse your taste buds and damage your health. When you read the label, you recognize every ingredient. Imagine soups are smooth, flavorful, and satisfying. They prove that low sodium does not mean bland. You can warm up on a cold Canadian winter evening without gambling with your cardiovascular health. You can enjoy a bowl of soup the way it should be enjoyed, as comfort without consequences. Both Pacific Foods and Imagine demonstrate that canned soup does not have to be a health hazard. Safe options exist. You just have to know which brands have earned your trust and which ones have betrayed it. These brands prove that the food industry can do better when they choose to prioritize consumer health over profit margins. You trusted the labels, you trusted the brands, and for years, they have quietly put your health at risk. Sky-high sodium hidden behind comforting packaging, industrial additives disguised as wholesome ingredients, promises of tradition that ignore every principle that made that tradition healthy. But now you know which brands to avoid. You know what to look for on the label, and you know that safe options exist. You just have to choose them. Armed with this information, you can walk into any Canadian grocery store and make decisions that protect your heart instead of endangering it. Subscribe now, and if you are watching on TV, tap your remote so you never get blindsided again.